Hey, what's up, everybody? Gabe here, and today we're riding one of my friend's bikes. This is a Husqvarna 401 Vitpilen, or Vitpilen 401, perhaps. It's my buddy's bike. He's had it for, I don't know, a year, give or take now, and he is selling it, actually. It's up for sale, so that's why I'm getting my shot to ride it in before it goes. This is if I recall correctly, a 2019 model year 401 Vitpilen. And for those who don't know, this bike is, it's made by Husqvarna, but Husqvarna is a brand actually owned by KTM, and this is basically using a platform that KTM uses on several models, and Husqvarna also has another model. To my knowledge, there are 5 bikes that use this platform. You've got the original one is the KTM RC390, which is like a little sport bike with this platform, and then you've got the Duke 390, which is a naked bike, but also the same idea. And then finally the 390 Adventure, which is, a taller, long travel suspension, kind of off-road oriented bike. Then there's this one. This is the Vitpilen. This is the Husqvarna one with this styling. And you've also got the Svartpilen, which is more of like a scrambler-esque style. It's a little lower, has a bit more ground clearance though, and the seat's not as flat, and the bars are raised up, and I'm not sure all the differences, but it's got some similarity. So let's have a walk around it. This bike isn't stock. My friend's done some stuff to it that is pretty cool, so I want to kind of go over some of it. So let's walk around it a little here. That's what it looks like. Try not to get hit by a car. I'm in the middle of the road. So we'll start with the back of the bike. The license plate originally would have been bolted on this side with this big carrier arm that would have come up to back here somewhere, like a fender license plate style thing. He chopped that and went to this much cleaner look. These are different. These are aftermarket exhaust. Actually, this whole plate holder he designed in 3D printed. There's a plate light down here. There's the lights and the all of it is all set up. He did all this design, which is pretty awesome. On the front, also aftermarket signals. That also sort of is running lights. These levers, they say 401. They say Husqvarna on them, but they're not official. They're just made kind of aimed at this bike, but they're aftermarket adjustable levers. It's got bar end mirrors. I don't remember what the original mirrors look like, but I'm pretty sure they went here. So these are the bar end style ones. And maybe his crowning achievement, this phone and holder is not just a normal phone and holder. I mean, it is a phone, but it's connected somewhere under this rat's nest. And under here is an Apple CarPlay wireless receiver thing. So he can actually connect his phone. He can pair with it. I think it works with Android Auto as well. He can pair his phone with it, and this becomes like a CarPlay display like you would have in a car. I didn't pair mine to show it off because it's annoying. I don't like pairing phones, but basically this isn't just a phone. This is like a CarPlay display in your car, and it's all wired up to be like that. And of course the phone, the battery only charges when the bike is on. So here we go. The bike's going to be on, and it's charging. I don't know if that'll show on the camera or not. The icon's very small, but anyway, it works. So this, for those who don't know, it's a 373cc single-cylinder engine, 6-speed transmission. This one is all the electronic what's-its, has ABS, front and rear. It has some kind of traction control system. It's pretty modern. KTM makes modern stuff. It's WP suspension, Vibri brakes, which are a Brembo subsidiary, like a kind of made in a different country, Brembo. It has all the fixings. It's very modern. I rode it here quickly. It felt pretty nice, but we're going to talk about it. The biggest thing we're going to talk about, though, I think the big thing, if you're interested in this bike, if this is something that interests you, the big thing you need to know about is these ergonomics, because this is in many ways, a beginner bike. It's got I think in most countries that have graded licensing systems, this is within what you're allowed to use as a learner in like Australia or in the UK or whatever. Here, that's less of a concern, but it's still kind of marketed. It's less expensive. It's marketed at beginners. So let's talk about why I think that might not be the most appropriate choice. Keeping in mind, this was my buddy's first bike. This, you obviously can learn it. So it's in neutral. So the little starter button right here. There you go. Don't know how loud it is, but it tells you the side stand is down on the dash there. It's hard to read probably on the camera, but I can see it. Sounds all right. It's a little single. Now it's tall. Actually, my feet are less down on this bike than they are on my XSR 900. So it's got a high seat height, and it has a very low reach to the clip-ons. These clip-on handlebars are very low. So this is the main thing we're going to probably talk about in this video, is that the bike that I immediately feel like I'm on when I'm riding this thing is my CBR 600RR I used to have. This is like much closer to a super sports style riding position than it is like a normal naked bike or anything else. So what does that mean if you're considering buying one? Well, it means, one, your neck is going to get tired from having to hold your head up, because naturally you want to look down in this position, and when you're riding you can't be looking down. So that's one thing. The other thing is that tall seat height means if you're not very tall, it's a slightly ponderous reach to the ground. I don't really mind. I've been riding a 37-inch seat height CRF 450, so this is still nothing compared to that. But you need to keep it in mind that that's the thing. The ride's not too rough. I'm going over these speed bumps. The suspension is definitely doing its job here. I'm not getting bashed around. I would say my XSR is harsher than this for sure. So at least over bumps like that. So here we go. Is this a dead end? No, I could go straight through that. I don't know where it's going to go to. Oh, it is a dead end. Okay. That's also a dead end? What's the point? Well, let's go find out what's at the end of the dead end. But yeah, it's really about this clip-on reach right here. I'm really far forward and low. These bars are low and forward. It really has that sport bike feeling. And I don't know how great that is for a beginner rider, because your low speed maneuvers are a little harder in this riding position, because it's harder to put your head where you're supposed to go, and it's harder to just look around and know what you're doing compared to a more upright riding position. So that's something to keep in mind. This bike looks really cool, but I think those ergos are really, really aimed at looking cool, because otherwise it is sport bike ergos. Okay, here's like a turn. I'm going really slow, but I mean, it turns nice. It handles well. It's just that, your weight's all over the front. The engine feels pretty good. I mean, it's a small 40-something inch horsepower bike. It's not... I rode my XSR around this morning, so obviously comparatively it's not going to accelerate like that, but it's responsive feeling enough. And I'm just staying in second gear here. Oh, the shift light came on. There you go. That's funny. I don't know where the red line is, but the shift light seemed to light up around 9-10K. Yeah, around 8.5, 9. Okay, let's turn here. Yeah, okay. Definitely more ponderous than I would like. The clutch feels not bad. The brakes were good. I like the brakes. They're not overly sharp or anything. You wouldn't expect that from a beginner bike, but they're totally adequate. They're not surprising in any way, and they stop the bike. I don't know what stopping in a hurry would feel like, but these definitely stop the bike. So no complaints there. Let's see. Whoop. Speed bump a little faster. No, it's still good. Okay, definitely under 3,000 RPM, 3,500 RPM. The bike doesn't start to feel so good anymore. It definitely wants to be a little higher than that, or it starts to not miss, but doesn't feel awesome. So you're definitely at the lugging point. Also, the engine braking is quite strong. Again, I'm used to the XSR, which has shockingly weak engine braking, which, by the way, has got nothing to do with the slipper clutch. That's like a misconception that's around out there. Or because it's a 3-cylinder or whatever. That's something that the engineers can tune in an individual bike, what happens when you let off the throttle. And, this bike I'm pretty sure has a slipper clutch too. But it still feels quite a lot stronger on the engine braking. It's also very light. I think this bike is... It's between 300 and 400 pounds, but I think it's close to the 300-pound mark there. It's very light. It's barely heavier than my CRF is. So, and it feels pretty light while I'm riding it around. But again, maybe you don't get as much advantage of that as you would like, because your weight's so far over the front. So I don't know. Also, I'm in a weird, obviously nice house part of town here that isn't where they like you to ride motorcycles around, so I'm trying to get back to a normal road. It's not going so well. Just find more of these houses. What's the street? Not what I want, but we'll turn left, because it says right's a dead end, and I believe them after. Oh yeah, well, I can see that it's a dead end this time. This is a slightly bigger street, so maybe it'll work out. So definitely for this kind of riding around town, often a problem I have with these really small bikes is that you have to shift gears very fast, because the small engine means, first gear. Here, let's really rev it in first gear. 50 kilometers an hour is 10k RPM, so you have to shift. I mean, so that means when you're doing stop to stop like this, you're shifting a lot more than I would have to shift on my on my bike, on my XSR. Is it the end of the world? No, but if you're going to do a lot of city riding, I think that's worth considering, at least a little bit. Here we go. Here's the road again by the river. This is good. This is what I wanted. So let's go down this hill and turn right. Did I hit the flasher? I don't know. Who knows? Okay, let those guys go by. Now, I want to try to go hit some higher speed roads somewhere, because this kind of riding position is not very fun at lower speed. But my recollection of having a sport bike was that it's greatly improved when you get up to speed, because then it really, the wind helps keep you up, and you're not putting so much weight on your wrists. So it feels a lot better. As it is, the ride is really pleasant. I actually really like how this bike rides. There's not a lot of vibration. I'm cruising at like 6,000 RPM here, and I don't find it's too vibey or anything. Let's have a brake. Yeah, the brakes feel good. Oh shit, I'm in the wrong lane. Oh, sorry guys. Now I'm a jerk, but that's how it goes. Sorry about that. Not like I don't come here all the time too. This is on my commute home, but so let's really rev it up here. Okay, so I hit the. Wow, that is violent. When you hit the cutout, it immediately cuts the gas, and you get jerked back. So that's not so much fun. Probably teach me to drive somebody else's bike like a jackass. Sorry, dude. I won't do that again. I just wanted to see how it would rev up. So it accelerates okay though, but you definitely want to shift before you hit that rev limiter, because that cutout feels unpleasant. I will say, I wasn't a nice feeling. That's how it goes. So let's take this turn. Oh yeah, I mean it likes to turn, that's for sure. And with your weight over the front like this, there's no problem there. These mirrors are not my favorite. I've commented about my feelings about bar end mirrors before, so I won't elaborate, but these are very small and not the easiest to merge with, but that's okay. I got the job done. I got on the highway. We're going to exit right here. I just wanted to see what it felt like, because it's hard to talk at this speed. It's loud, but it feels okay. It feels pretty good. This bike is definitely able to go on the highway. I was easily able to hit 120 comfortably. I wasn't tapped out. So I know people are a little worried about small bikes on the highway, but this isn't one I would worry about. It has no problem with that. So you could definitely, if you need to get this bike and you're worried about highway use and stuff, I think that's not a concern. I think it'll do just fine. It's light, so you'll get maybe blown around a little more, although I'm not it's windy. I'm not especially feeling bad. Again, the riding position helps with that, because you're over the front, you're more in control. But yeah, it feels fine. So the foot peg placement weirds me out a little bit. The clip-ons scream super sport, right? This is what my 600RR felt like. But the foot pegs aren't far enough back and aren't high enough up, so my legs are like just a little too underneath me for it to make sense. And I just find it's weird. It's a weird compromise they've done. And that's why I honestly think aesthetics was not their primary concern. I think they were thinking about, they were more focused on a bike that, I'm still on the highway, that didn't work out so good. They were more focused on a bike that looked a certain way than they were on how it rode, I suspect. I don't know for sure, but considering there's already 3 other bikes from KTM in this line, it does seem like this was mostly a styling exercise compared to those bikes. I don't see, the difference, but it's not bad. It's not like unrideable or anything like that. Like, I mean, I'm able to ride it. I just think that because it's aimed at new riders, it might be a little trickier because of this position to get used to. Although again, like I said, my buddy bought one and he did just fine. So clearly it's not a disaster, right? And yeah, okay, we're gonna get off the highway now, for real, I hope. It feels nice though. Honestly, it's really confident. The engine feels good even at highway speed. It's not vibey like I was worried it would be, especially at higher speed like this. Here's the exit. It handles really well. It would be really fun, I think, on a really, whoa, that was a nasty bump. Okay. It would be really fun on a really twisty road to really, you know, get on it, I think. But because it comes into the turns, and no, it's nice. It's stable. Don't cut it out again, Gabe. Yeah, there you go. Good. Here we go. And we're going to turn, I guess, right at this. I don't know. We're going to go right. Going to try not to get lost. We'll do what we can here. Okay, we're good. I didn't hit any false neutrals, or even any like real neutrals when you're not expecting. Yeah, no, it's okay, perfect. I know where we are. That's very good. So, I don't want to make a super long video because I'm really good at making super long videos by accident, but I think this bike feels nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. I think the ergos are weird, and I think if I was in the market, I would buy this Vitpilen, which has more upright handlebars. It's otherwise very, very similar. I think I would go with the clip-ons. Probably feel nice if you're ripping mountain roads all the time or something, you know, canyon carving, or if you take it to the track. But if I'm going to go to the track, then I'm going to get the RC 390. And if I'm going to ride more in the city, then I don't want to deal with this riding position for nothing. It's fine, but I'm going to get tired of riding this fast. You'll get used to it to an extent, but you know, you're always going to have to remember to hold yourself up with your core and not put your weight on your wrists, but you're inevitably going to put your weight on your wrists. And if you ride 3 or 4 hours, you're going to get tired on this thing. So I like everything else about it, I would say. I would just go with the Vitpilen instead of the Vit, personally. Although this thing looks bitchin'. Stand up on the pegs over the tracks. Yep, feels good. Always a bit interesting there. So here's goose jail, although the geese are free in the yard today, but sometimes they're like behind these fences, which is what Canada geese obviously deserve, to be in federal prison, because they're jerks. So yeah, this building's cool. It's like an old, probably like not medieval, because nothing here is medieval, but an old style prison fort. You know, it's pretty neat. And yeah, I think that's the summary. So I mean, it's a short video, but it was a lot of fun to ride. I'm gonna return it to my buddy now because it's not mine. These guys don't have a stop, right? Nope. Okay. I should have went ahead time when I realized that guy was turning, but it's okay. I don't like to try to goose it when I'm not used to the bike yet, just in case it doesn't like accelerate as fast as I want. And indeed, this one is a little slower than what I'm used to. But it's also a single, but it's a lot smoother than my CRF, you know? You can tell they've done some work to make it a more confident road bike, because it's not as kind of brute force. So here's the geese in jail. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Goose jail. So yeah, I would say it's pretty smooth for a single. I honestly expected, all my single cylinder bike experience has been on dual sports or like pure dirt bikes. So I expected more of that sensation to come out of it, and not how smooth this is. This doesn't feel that different to how my parallel twin R3 felt. Although I think it makes power a little lower in the RPM than that bike did, even if the red line is a little lower. So I think that it's a good trade, because you don't have to shift as much as I did on that other bike. So all right, I think that's it. I think I'm done with the video. So thanks very much for watching, and if you are considering this bike, just keep in mind everything is pretty tight, but the ergonomics are probably the thing that you should watch out for. And if you like it though, look for the Vitpilen. That's what I would say. The Vitpilen is definitely the way to go there. It's gonna fix the problems, the few problems that this bike has. So yeah, so that's what I would say. I would say this is a nice bike. It's fun. Everything on it feels good. It shifts nice. It stops nice. The power is pretty decent for how small it is. Feels just fine. I had no problems on the highway. I felt comfortable. I never felt like, oh God, I need more power or something like that. It feels just great. Only the ergonomics are kind of weird on it, and definitely I would get tired if I had to ride this for a super long time, especially at these like kind of city speeds. So I would say look at that Vitpilen, but otherwise this thing's dope. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.